Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously incredible journey. We're bridging the millennia between the ancient philosophical roots of Indian cinema and the cutting-edge AI that's literally reshaping its future as we speak. If you really want to understand where film is heading, you absolutely have to understand where it came from first. So here is our roadmap for today. First, the roots of Indian cinema. Then, we'll hit ethics, society, and mythology. Third, AI and cinematic innovation. And finally, career pathways in film. Let's get right into it. Part 1, Roots of Indian Cinema. We're kicking things off by exploring what I like to call the soul, that indigenous wisdom of the Indian knowledge system forming the very bedrock of how we tell stories. Now, you might hear Indian knowledge system and think, okay, dusty history, right? Actually, scratch that. Texts like Bharata's Natya Shastra are highly dynamic living frameworks. They laid down the rules for dramatic performance and visual storytelling thousands of years ago. And wildly enough, they are still structuring modern cinematic expression today. It's like the original source code for filmmaking. Take the Navarasa, the rasa theory. Think of these 9 primary emotions as a filmmaker's ultimate color palette. They use it to paint these incredibly rich emotional landscapes. Look at how specific these are. You've got Shringara for love and romance, usually shown with massive lavish grandeur. Raudra captures that intense anger and fury, perfect for those epic revenge and rebellion arcs. Karuna invokes deep compassion through human struggle. Hasya uses humor to question society. And Adbhuta brings the sense of wonder to deep existential themes. Literally every great film you've ever watched relies on this exact palette to hook you in. To see that palette in action, just look at Satyajit Ray's absolute masterpiece, Pathar Panchali. Ray masterfully applied Karuna Rasa, that's compassion and sorrow, to highlight the raw struggle and incredible resilience of a rural Bengali family. By using this very specific emotional hue, he evoked profound empathy, grounding the whole narrative in a deeply human experience that resonated all over the world. But this ancient framework goes way beyond just pure emotion. Traditional arts like classical dance and ritualistic performances are woven right into the cinematic frame. And they aren't just pretty background decorations. In Shatranj Ki Khilari, Kathak dance actually symbolizes the literal decline of an aristocracy. In Salangayoli, Bharatanatyam is the main vehicle to explore artistic discipline. And if you've seen Kantara, you know how that intense, visually striking Theyyam performance brings themes of faith and human-animal conflict roaring to life. These art forms are critical storytelling tools that preserve cultural authenticity while actively driving the plot forward. Moving on to Part 2, Ethics, Society, and Mythology. We've looked at the soul, so now let's explore the conscience of cinema and examine how ancient mythology seamlessly translates into our modern social perspectives. When we juxtapose ancient epics with massive modern blockbusters, a pretty fascinating evolution appears. Classical epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata often dealt with cosmic justice and a somewhat clearer sense of dharma or righteous duty. But modern adaptations, films like Bahubali, Ravan, or even Lagan, they continually reinterpret these timeless concepts. They explore complex power dynamics and introduce these highly nuanced, morally gray anti-heroes, proving that these ancient frameworks are just incredibly flexible. And just as classical texts debated moral laws, modern Indian cinema impartially holds a mirror up to society. Sholay examines justice and a warrior's duty. Article 15 dives straight into rural caste hierarchies. Pink explores gender justice and the vital right to consent, while Newton questions bureaucratic ethics and electoral integrity. Now, the point here isn't that these films are endorsing a single political viewpoint. Not at all. Rather, they are using their massive platforms to provoke reflection, really forcing audiences to grapple with complex, real-world dilemmas. Ultimately, regardless of the era, the philosophical conscience of Indian cinema relies heavily on these ancient concepts: dharma, karma, destiny. These aren't just old words. They are the gravity that gives modern stories their enduring weight and resonance, reminding audiences of the timeless lessons that have shaped the culture for millennia. Which brings us to Part 3, AI and cinematic innovation. Suddenly, we are pivoting hard. We're leaving the ancient texts behind and stepping directly into the brain of modern filmmaking. The futuristic, rapid disruption of artificial intelligence that is fundamentally altering the very mechanics of how films get made. You see, AI is no longer just a fun sci-fi concept. It's a practical tool being used across the board. In pre-production, AI can analyze thousands of scripts to generate story ideas and predict the next big hit. It optimizes budgets, scouts virtual locations, and even uses predictive data to cast the exact right actor. Fast forward to post-production, and AI is automating color correction and powering hyper-realistic CGI. And finally, it's tailoring marketing campaigns and analyzing social media sentiment to make sure a film actually finds its audience. Machine learning has infiltrated literally every single step of the pipeline. To see how this plays out in reality, look at the 2016 short film Sunspring. This was entirely scripted by an AI, resulting in a genuinely bizarre, slightly nonsensical script with incredibly weird dialogue. What this experiment proved is that, yeah, while algorithms can brilliantly mimic narrative structure and pacing, they definitely still need a human touch to make the dialogue sound, well, sane and emotionally resonant. This brilliantly illustrates the double-edged sword of this technology. AI gives us hyper-realistic CGI like an Avatar and unbelievable de-aging tech like in The Irishman, where legendary actors get to play their younger selves without needing a time machine. But it also opens up a massive Pandora's box of ethical concerns. Deepfake technology and digital human creation raise some serious, urgent questions about consent, artistic authenticity, and the hidden biases within data privacy. It's a brave new world for sure, and the rules are still being written. Part 4, Career Pathways in Film. Finally, we bring it all down to earth, with the hands. We've talked about the theory and the flashy tech, but what does this rapidly evolving landscape actually mean for you and your career? Well, if you want to build a successful career here, you've got to map out your skills. Aiming for the director's chair? You'll need solid leadership and visionary storytelling. Want to be a director of photography? Deep technical camera knowledge paired with a killer aesthetic sense is an absolute must. If editing or VFX is your calling, software proficiency is just non-negotiable. And if marketing and PR is your path, you need strong communication, branding, and media relations skills. You have to find your domain and start building those specific skills right now. And hey, beyond those traditional studio roles, there are massive emerging sectors out there. The explosion of OTT streaming platforms has created this unquenchable thirst for content writers, creative producers, and digital editors. Concurrently, there is a critical growing need for film archiving and restoration, meaning archivists and heritage conservationists are in huge demand to save our cinematic history. And of course, the entrepreneurial path is wider than ever, empowering independent filmmakers, freelancers, and festival curators to carve out their very own unique spaces. So how do you actually get your foot in the door? You must pair your academic knowledge, all that Indian knowledge system stuff and the AI concepts we talked about, with aggressive real-world action. Secure internships to understand the workflows. Network relentlessly at major events like the International Film Festival of India. Master the new software through online certifications. And most importantly, build a robust portfolio that definitively proves you can do the work. Experience is key here. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. In a world where technology can generate a screenplay in seconds, analyze audience sentiment in real time, and digitally de-age actors, is the ancient, deeply human art of storytelling actually in danger? Or are we simply entering a renaissance of unprecedented cinematic creativity, where AI forces us to dig deeper into those ancient Navarasa emotions just to prove our humanity? Thank you so much for exploring with me today. Keep watching, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next one.